In this video, I shall discuss solo growth model. Solo growth model is a neoclassical growth model which follows certain assumptions. The assumptions are: number 1, production function exhibits constant returns to scale. Number 2, the returns are positive. The returns from the factors of production are positive and diminishing. So if Q is a function of L and K, where L is the labor, K is the capital, then del Q, del L, del Q, del K greater than 0 and del 2Q, del L2, del 2Q, del K2 less than 0. Number 3, limit L tends to 0, del Q, del L is equal to limit K tends to 0, del Q, del K is equal to infinity, and limit K tends to infinity, del Q, del L, limit K tends to infinity, del Q, del K is equal to 0. Now these conditions are called Inada condition. So the production function in solo growth model follows this Inada condition. The fourth assumption is the essentiality assumption, which says that if L0 is equal to f K0 is equal to 0. So for producing positive amount of output, both L and K should be positive. Both L and K are required for producing positive amount of output. This assumption is called essentiality assumption. Now solo growth model follows all these assumptions, and based on these assumptions the solo growth model can be formulated. So the production function is written as f q is equal to f L K. Now both L and K are being changed by 1 by L amount. So then in that case the new production function is 1 by L into L comma 1 by L into K. So from here we can write f1 comma K by L. Now K by L is denoted by small k. So small k represents capital per unit of worker. So this can be written as small f and within bracket small k. So the new production function is a function of small k, and small k is the capital per unit of worker. Now since this production function is a neoclassical production function, so this production function follows the constant returns to scale, and we have changed both L and K by the proportion 1 by L, and therefore the original production function will also change to 1 by L into Q. So now this new production function fk should be equal to 1 by L into Q, because the production function follows the constant returns to scale. So now this Q by L can be written as small q, where small q represents the total output per unit of worker. So what we are getting, small q is equal to f small k. So this is our production function in solo growth model. And we will work with this new production function. So Q is equal to f k. Now from the national income accounting we know that small y is equal to C plus I. So in a closed economy, the total amount of output per worker is equal to total amount of consumption per worker and the total investment per worker. Now from here we can write that C is equal to 1 minus S into Y. So that means Y minus Sy, where Y is the output, total amount of output per worker, and Sy is the total amount of savings per worker. So the total amount of consumption is the difference between output and the total amount of savings, where here S is the MPS, marginal propensity to save. Now we can replace this C by this expression. So we are getting from here Y is equal to Y minus Sy plus I. So from here we are getting I is equal to Sy. So what we are getting, that the total amount of investment per worker in the economy is equal to total amount of savings per worker. So this is the savings investment identity in solo growth model. Now from here, in place of Y, we can write S into Fk, because we know that the production function is Q is equal to Fk, and Q is the total amount of output produced in the economy. So in place of Q, suppose we are writing Y. So this is the total income produced in the economy per worker. So in place of Y, we can write Fk. So I is equal to S into Fk. Now from here, we can find out the change in the capital per worker. So what is the amount of capital per worker in the economy? This is denoted by small k, where small k is k by L. So del k, that is the change in capital stock per worker, is equal to I minus delta k, where delta is the rate of depreciation in the economy. Rate of depreciation of capital stock in the economy, and k is the total amount of existing capital stock. So delta k represents the total amount of depreciation of capital. So investment minus the depreciation is the total amount of capital stock accumulated in the economy. So delta k is equal to I minus delta k. And we know that I is equal to S into Fk. And since this is a neoclassical production function and this follows all the assumptions of neoclassical growth models, so Fk takes the shape of a neoclassical production function. So this is Fk. Now what is S into Fk? S into Fk is here, because S is MPS and we know that MPS lies between 0 and 1. So therefore SFK, this curve, is lower than the Fk curve. So SFK is here. Now what is delta k? So here along the x-axis we are taking delta small k, and along the y-axis we are taking all these things, production function Fk and delta k. Now what is delta k? Delta k is a straight line through the origin. So this is delta k. So this is delta k. Now when delta k is equal to 0, when I is equal to delta k, so for delta k to be 0, I should be equal to delta k. Now in this curve, where is the equality between I and delta k? I is S into Fk and this is delta k. So at the point of intersection between delta k and SFK, the value of delta k is 0. So here at this particular level of capital stock, delta k is equal to 0. Now when delta k is equal to 0, then there is no change in the capital stock in the economy. That means we have steady state in the economy. So there is no change in capital stock. So we have reached the steady state in the economy. So this K star, this particular level of capital stock per worker, represents the steady state level of capital stock. And at the steady state level of capital stock, I is equal to delta K. So for getting the value of K star, we have to equate the total amount of investment per worker in the economy with the total amount of depreciation of capital in the economy. So this equality will give us the steady state level of capital stock, and this K star represents the steady state level of capital stock, and at steady state level of capital stock at K star, delta K is equal to 0. Now if there is a change in the savings rate in the economy, if there is a change in S, small s in the economy, then how this K star, this steady state level of capital stock will change, that we can show with the help of this diagram. So this is S into Fk. So this is initial S0 into Fk, and this is delta K. So this is a straight line through the origin. Now suppose S0 is increasing, so the savings rate in the economy is rising. So in that case, this S0 Fk curve will shift upward, and then this new curve is S1 Fk, where S1 is greater than S0. So savings rate in the economy is rising. So in that case, this S0 Fk curve is going upward, and then the new equilibrium will be here. The new point of intersection with the delta K line will be here. So here we have a new capital stock K double star, which will represent the new level of steady state capital stock. So the initial capital stock per worker was K star. Now the new capital stock per worker is K double star. So now the new steady state level of capital stock per worker is higher than this K star. So we can say that if savings rate in the economy rises, then the steady state level of capital stock per worker will also rise. So here at this K star, again delta K is equal to 0 with the new level of savings rate, with the new higher level of savings rate. Next we shall consider the golden rule level of capital stock.